The trial of the human. The sky was dark above the alien city. Clouds hung low like heavy chains, and strange red lights blinked in the distance. Commander Ryan sat inside a cold metal cell, his hands bound with glowing cuffs. His face was dirty, bruised and tired, but his eyes stayed strong. He had been captured 3 days ago. One moment he was leading a patrol on the border of the human colony. The next, strange flying machines appeared. He was taken before he could even fight back. No one explained anything. No one spoke his language. Until today, a tall, armored alien came to his cell. She was female. He could tell by the shape of her face and voice. She spoke slowly in broken Earth English. "You come. Tribunal waits." They dragged him into a large hall, round, high-ceilinged, and lit with blue fire. Alien women sat in a half-circle above him, wearing robes of silver and bone. Each one had glowing eyes. Their skin colors were different: green, blue, gold. But their stares were the same, cold and full of judgment. Ryan looked up at them and shouted, "What am I even accused of?" The central figure, taller than the others and wearing a crown of crystal, stood. Her voice echoed through the chamber. "Human, you crossed the sacred line. You disturbed the balance. You must be corrected." Ryan blinked. "What does that mean? What balance?" The alien beside him whispered, "Be quiet. This is the female tribunal of Zalari. You have no right to speak unless told." Ryan gritted his teeth. His mind was spinning. He remembered the stories, rumors about the Zalari, a powerful alien empire ruled by women. Their males were rare and protected. And humans, they were seen as wild, unpredictable, and too aggressive. He tried again. "Listen, I didn't attack anyone. I didn't even know your people were here." Another tribunal member with sharp golden eyes stood and read from a strange scroll. "Commander Ryan, human soldier. You are guilty of genetic aggression. You are found to be dangerous to the survival of balance among the races. We offer mercy through correction." "Correction?" Ryan asked, confused. The leader nodded. "You are sentenced to the ritual of renewal. You will be taken to the hall of mating. There, you will perform your duty." The hall fell silent. Ryan stared at them. "What? You mean, you want me to mate? With who? Why?" The golden-eyed alien replied, "The ritual is sacred. You do not get to ask why." Panic rose in Ryan's chest. "You can't force this. I'm a soldier. I'm not a breeding tool." But they didn't care. The guards grabbed him again. Before they took him away, one young alien judge looked at him with strange eyes. Not hatred, not anger. Something else, pity, she whispered to the leader, but the queen shook her head. Then, one last word echoed from the queen. "Take him. Prepare the chamber. The fate of 5 bloodlines rests on his body now." The door closed behind him. Ryan was thrown into another room. Softer than the cell, but still locked. A long platform in the center looked more like a bed than a table. Alien carvings covered the walls, showing men and women from many species in what looked like rituals. He sat down, trying to catch his breath. His hands were still shaking. "This is insane," he whispered. Suddenly, a soft chime rang. The door opened. 5 women walked in. All were aliens. All were different. One was tall and had silver skin. One had eyes like glowing gems. Another had long hair that moved like water. All of them looked at him, some with interest, some with fear, and one with clear hate. Ryan stood up quickly. "Stay back." But they didn't move forward. The one with gem eyes spoke gently. "We're not here to hurt you, human. We are here because we have no choice." Ryan looked at them, confused. "You're prisoners too?" The silver-skinned woman nodded. "Some of us, yes, some volunteered. Some were sent. But none of us are free." The youngest among them, with soft violet skin and sad eyes, whispered, "If this ritual fails and our tribes die." That moment hit Ryan hard. He realized he wasn't the only one forced into this. These women were under pressure too, from their people, their leaders, maybe even from fear. He sat back down. "What is this place?" The silver woman replied. "This is the chamber of renewal. We are to join with you, not for pleasure, but for future." Ryan frowned. "This is not right." She looked him in the eyes. "Right or not, it is what is. And now, we begin." The room darkened. A soft hum filled the air. The walls began to glow. Outside, the tribunal watched through silent screens, eyes fixed on what would begin inside. Ryan closed his eyes, trying to calm his heart. He didn't know what the next day would bring, but he knew one thing. He would not be their tool, not without a fight. The chamber of brides. Ryan opened his eyes slowly. The room around him was glowing in soft blue light. The bed he had sat on before was now surrounded by strange symbols shining on the floor. He wasn't alone anymore. 5 alien women stood around him, silent, watching. Their expressions were not the same. One looked angry, one looked scared, one was curious, one seemed sad, and one, she didn't even meet his eyes. They weren't dressed in armor or robes, but in soft ceremonial clothes, each with a different design. It was like standing in front of living goddesses from 5 alien worlds. A low voice broke the silence. "I am Licia," said the one with bright gem-like eyes. "And this is the Chamber of Brides." Ryan stood up slowly. "I don't want to hurt anyone." Licia raised a hand. "We know. But you are part of the ritual now. As are we." The angry one, with bronze skin and sharp black markings, stepped forward. Her voice was cold. "Don't act innocent, human. You've been chosen. Be grateful." "I didn't choose anything," Ryan snapped. The youngest girl, her skin soft violet and her voice trembling, whispered, "None of us did." A silence followed, heavy and thick. Ryan looked at each of them again. These were not volunteers. These were brides forced into something they did not fully understand, or maybe did, and feared it anyway. He took a step back. "Why are you all here? What does the ritual really mean?" Licia walked over and sat across from him, her eyes calm. "Our people are dying. Low births, weak bloodlines. The tribunal believes human DNA, your strength, can help save us." He stared at her. "So I'm a tool, a solution, not a man?" "No," she said softly. "You're hope. Whether you want to be or not," the angry one scoffed. "I don't care for hope. I will do what is required and leave. If you die, that's your problem." Licia turned to her. "Xantha, stop. No one is dying." Xantha narrowed her eyes. "Not yet." The tension in the room grew. Ryan sat back down, breathing slowly. "If this ritual is supposed to save you, why does it feel like a prison?" "Because it is," whispered the violet-skinned girl. Her name was Solari. She sat next to Ryan and looked at the glowing symbols on the ground. "I was born weak," she said. "My mother cried when I survived. I've never been chosen for anything before. Now I'm here and I'm afraid." Ryan looked at her gently. "You shouldn't have to do this." She smiled faintly. "Neither should you." Suddenly the door opened. Guards entered. Tall, silent, female. One handed Licia a small crystal. Licia stood and read aloud. "The ritual begins in 2 nights. Until then, we must learn from each other. Understand? Connect." Xantha groaned. "Waste of time." But the others looked thoughtful. Even Solari seemed to breathe easier. Ryan was still trying to understand it all. He had been a soldier, a fighter. But now, he was trapped in something bigger, something deeper than war. These women weren't just brides. They were survivors, victims, warriors in their own way. And somehow their lives were now tied to his. That night, Ryan stayed awake. He sat near a warm stone in the center of the chamber, while the others slept in quiet corners. Except one. Zentha stood near the door watching the guards beyond the glass. He walked over quietly. "You don't trust me." She didn't look at him. "Why should I?" "Because I'm not here by choice." She finally looked at him. "Neither am I, but I lost everything because of humans." "What happened?" She didn't answer at first. Then she whispered, "My sister was on a trade ship. Your people destroyed it, no warning." Ryan froze. "I'm sorry," he said. She didn't respond. "But I didn't do it," he added. "Doesn't matter," she said. "Your face reminds me of pain." Ryan sighed. "Then I guess I have to change what you see." He walked back to his spot by the fire, leaving her alone with her thoughts. By morning, something had changed. The women spoke more openly. Licia asked Rian about Earth. Solari sang a soft lullaby in her native tongue. Even the silent one, Vera, with hair like woven silver, drew symbols on the floor near Rian and smiled when he guessed their meaning. Only Zentha remained distant. But Rian didn't push her. He was learning something now. This ritual wasn't about passion or power. It was about trust. And trust took time. Late that night, Ryan heard a strange hum. He followed the sound to the edge of the chamber wall. One of the glowing symbols was flickering. He reached out, and the wall shifted. Behind it, a hidden door. He glanced around. Should he open it? Should he tell the others? Or was this his only way out? He touched the panel again. The door hissed open. A dark tunnel waited beyond it. He turned back to look at the sleeping brides, then stepped into the shadows. Quietly. Carefully. He had to know the truth behind this place, because something told him. This ritual was hiding a secret far more dangerous than he ever imagined. She refuses to touch him. Until he bleeds, Zentha stood with her arms crossed, staring at the far wall. Her eyes were like fire, burning with anger, pain, and something else no one could name. Ryan watched her from across the room. It had been 3 days since the chamber ritual had started. The other brides had started speaking to him, sharing stories, even laughing once or twice. But Zentha? She didn't smile, didn't sit, didn't eat when he was near. She hated him. He didn't blame her. Her sister had died in a human attack. Even if he wasn't the one who caused it, he still wore the same face, the same uniform, the same species. That morning, the guards brought them food, strange glowing fruit and soft bread. Ryan handed a plate to Solari, then to Licia. He walked toward Zentha slowly. "I'm not your enemy," he said gently. She didn't even look at him. "Keep it." "It's food," he said. "You need it." "I'd rather starve than take anything from you." He sighed, placing the plate on the floor near her. "I'll leave it here." Zentha still didn't look at him. "Don't pretend to care." "I'm not pretending," he said softly. "You don't know me." "I don't need to," she snapped. "Your kind destroyed everything. You just want to feel like a hero now." Her words cut deep. Ryan said nothing and walked away. Later that day, the temple guards ordered everyone into the ritual arena, a wide open chamber with tall trees, glowing rocks, and ancient carvings. It looked like a sacred garden. A deep voice echoed from above. It was the tribunal elder. "Let the bond be tested through trial. If he protects, he is worthy." Before anyone could ask what that meant, a roar shook the ground. From the trees, a massive beast jumped out, its body like a giant black cat, with 6 eyes and teeth like daggers. Its skin shimmered, and its growl made even the walls tremble. The bride screamed. Solari ran behind a tree. Vera and Licia tried to pull her back. Xantha stood frozen in place. The beast charged toward her. Rian didn't think. He sprinted forward and slammed into Xantha, knocking her out of the way. The beast's claws slashed through the air, missing her by inches but cutting Rian across the back. He fell hard, blood pouring from his shoulder. The beast turned again, ready to attack once more. Xantha stood up, staring at him in shock. "Why?" Rian gritted his teeth. "Because you're not the enemy either." Guards fired stun blasts at the creature, finally forcing it back into the forest. Rian lay on the ground, barely able to move. Xantha dropped beside him. "You're bleeding." "I noticed," he groaned with a weak smile. She placed her hands on the wound. "Stay still." Her fingers glowed faintly, releasing some kind of alien healing energy. The pain faded slowly, but the memory didn't. Rian looked into her eyes. "I didn't save you for the ritual. I did it because you didn't deserve to die." Xantha's face trembled. She whispered, "My sister would have liked you." That night, no one spoke much. Rian sat against the wall, his back bandaged, in glowing wrap. The pain was still there, but lighter now. The brides had all gone quiet. Even Licia didn't try to break the silence. Xantha sat near the fire for the first time. She kept glancing at Rian. Finally, she spoke. "You shouldn't have done that. You could have died. I know. Why did you still do it?" Rian looked at her. "Because I see people. Not enemies, not species. Just people." Xantha's expression softened. Her voice grew quiet. "No one's ever said that to me before. I mean it." She stared at the fire. "You bled for me, and I never even wanted to touch your shadow." "I didn't bleed for thanks," Rian said. There was silence again. Then Xantha moved closer. She gently reached out and touched his hand, just once, then pulled it away quickly. But it was enough. The next morning, the guards returned. They brought ritual clothes, robes of soft white and gold. The final phase was near. The brides dressed in silence. But there was something different now. Less fear, less anger. Something warmer, though fragile. Xantha stood beside Rian as he dressed. She helped him with the sleeve. "I still don't know if I can trust all humans," she said. "But I trust you." Rian smiled. "That's all I could ever ask." They looked at each other. No more words needed. But deep beneath the temple in the dark room Rian had discovered earlier, a pair of eyes opened. A hidden machine beeped softly. Inside one of the stasis pods, a small half-human, half-alien child moved slightly, and in the shadows a cloaked figure whispered, "The breeding project is progressing. The human is responding." Well, the secret chamber sealed again. Up above, the brides walked hand in hand toward the ceremony hall, unaware of the dark truth hiding just below their feet, the forbidden room beneath the temple. The lights in the chamber of brides dimmed early that night. The ritual was one day away. The air felt heavy, like it was holding its breath. Most of the brides were resting, whispering quietly, or lost in thought. But Rian couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about the secret door he had found 2 nights ago, the glowing symbol that flickered on the wall, the hidden tunnel, and the strange cold wind that had come from below. He had stepped inside briefly but turned back when he heard footsteps. Something deep down had whispered, "Not yet." Now, with the others asleep, he stood and walked to the wall again. The symbol still blinked faintly. His fingers moved over it carefully. Click. The wall slid open. He looked back one last time at the sleeping brides, then stepped into the dark. The tunnel was narrow and cold. The walls were made of ancient stone, smooth and marked with strange carvings. The air smelled different, like machines and something older, something dead. As he moved forward, small lights on the floor began to glow, sensing his steps. Then he reached a door. It wasn't alien stone, but metal, Human metal. Ryan's heart froze. He reached out and placed his palm on the scanner. The door opened with a hiss. Inside was a large, cold chamber filled with glass pods. Each one glowed soft green, and inside them were children, dozens of them. Some looked fully alien, some looked half-human. Their small bodies floated in a strange liquid, sleeping silently. Ryan stepped closer. One of the pods had a label, Subject 17F, Hybrid, Human DNA Match Confirmed. He backed away slowly, heart pounding. This isn't a ritual. This is a lab, he whispered. A soft voice spoke behind him. You were not supposed to see this. Ryan spun around. Leisha stood there, her gem-like eyes glowing dim in the dark. How do you know about this? He asked. She stepped closer. I followed you. I saw you leave. You knew this was here? This is where the ritual leads, isn't it? Leisha nodded slowly. Yes. But I did not always know. Ryan looked at her, eyes full of hurt. You lied to me? No, she said. I protected you. If the tribunal finds out you discovered this, they will erase you. He pointed at the children. These are people. Babies. Hybrids. What are they doing here? Leisha's voice trembled. They were made from failed rituals, ones that didn't go as planned. The mothers, many of them never even saw their children. Ryan's voice grew hard. So that's the real purpose. They don't care about bloodlines or balance. They want to breed hybrid soldiers or experiments. She nodded. To survive. To evolve. Ryan turned back to the pods. One of the children had brown skin and human-like hair, but with glowing purple eyes. A tear fell from his eye. I won't be part of this, he whispered. Leisha touched his arm. Then help me stop it. They left the chamber quickly, sealing the door behind them. Back in the sleeping quarters, Leisha sat beside Ryan. She told him everything. About how the rituals started as a tradition, a way to unite tribes. But over time, the Zalari tribunal turned it into a secret project. They needed humans for their DNA, but didn't want the galaxy to know. They dress it as honor, as sacred, she said. But it's just control. We are all just numbers to them. Ryan stared at the ceiling. So what now? Leisha's eyes lit with fire. We expose them, or we escape. But the others? Ryan asked. Zentha, Solari, Vera, will they believe us? They will if they see what you saw. Morning came fast. The brides were told to wear their final robes for the ritual. White, gold, and silver, with crowns made from alien flowers. They gathered in the preparation hall. Ryan stayed silent, waiting for the right moment. Then Solari noticed something was wrong. Why do you look afraid, Ryan? He stepped forward and spoke quietly. Because this ritual is not about unity. It's about using us. Zentha frowned. What are you talking about? He looked at Leisha, who gave a slow nod. Found a lab. Below the temple, Ryan said. With pods, with children, mixed blood, like us. The room went cold. Solari stepped back in shock. Vera dropped her flower crown. Zentha's voice broke. Children? Ryan nodded. They're hiding the truth. We're not mates to them. We're test subjects. A long silence followed. Then Zentha growled. I knew this felt wrong. I just didn't know how deep it went. Solari began to cry. What do they want from us? Ryan looked at them all. The same thing they took from others before us. Our future. He paused. We need to decide. Do we go through with this or do we run? Leisha stepped forward. There is a passage, a hidden escape, but it won't stay open long. Vera's voice was soft. If we run, they'll hunt us. Zentha clenched her fists. Let them. I'd rather die free. Ryan placed a hand over his heart. Then tonight we run, together. Far above, the tribunal watched the chamber on hidden screens. The Elder Queen narrowed her glowing eyes. The human has discovered too much. Shall we terminate him? One asked. No, said the queen. Let the ritual continue. He may still give us what we need. She turned to a dark figure beside her. But prepare the hunters in case he tries to escape. One bride is missing and the door is open. Solari was gone. The moment hit like cold wind. Rian looked around the chamber. Her small sleeping mat was empty. Her robes still hung by the wall. No one had seen her leave. She was here last night, Vera whispered. Xantha cursed under her breath. She wouldn't run. She was too scared. Licia's face was pale. Unless someone took her. The bride stood frozen. Even the quiet hum of the temple seemed to stop. Then Ryan noticed it. The door. The same hidden door behind the wall. It was slightly open. He rushed toward it and pressed the glowing symbol. The panel slid back with a soft hiss. Cold air blew in. No, Ryan said, his voice shaking. She went down there. Xantha's eyes narrowed. Or someone dragged her down. Without waiting, Ryan stepped into the tunnel. Licia followed close behind. Xantha and Vera hesitated, but then joined. The silence in the tunnel was louder than sound. Every step echoed like thunder. When they reached the lab room, the air had changed. One pod was open, and it was empty. Solari's small necklace made of purple shells lay cracked on the floor. No, Licia whispered. Xantha clenched her fists. They took her. Ryan walked over to the empty pod. He touched the inside. It was warm. She wasn't killed, he said. She was taken recently. Vera moved to the wall. A set of footprints, wet and fresh, led toward a dark hallway they hadn't noticed before. Where does that go? Ryan asked. Licia hesitated. Deeper, to the testing chamber. They followed the prints through a long corridor of glass tubes and flickering lights. Strange machines hummed, and screens showed alien DNA patterns. At the end of the hall, they found a room filled with metal chairs and sharp instruments. On one table, a small bracelet made from Solari's hair threads lay abandoned. Rian felt sick. We're running out of time. Suddenly, a voice echoed through a hidden speaker. It was the tribunal queen. You were warned, human. The ritual was your path to mercy. You chose rebellion. The lights turned red. Doors slammed shut behind them. You want to know the truth? The voice continued. Then let us show you. A glass wall rose on one side of the room. Behind it stood a creature. Tall, part human, part alien, with glowing eyes and thick veins that pulsed with energy. It looked around the room, then stared directly at Rian. That is what happens when the ritual fails, said the voice. Do you still wish to leave? Xantha raised her weapon. I wish to burn this place to the ground. The lights above cracked. The creature roared and slammed against the glass. The brides backed away. We need to get out of here, Ryan said. Now. They ran. The halls shifted like a maze, lights flashing, alarms ringing. Xantha led the way with speed and fury. Vera held a stolen map crystal guiding them through turns. Licia moved with quiet focus, but Ryan kept glancing back. Where was Solari? Suddenly, a loud cry echoed through the halls. A child's voice. Faint. Help. Ryan stopped. Did you hear that? They turned back. The sound came from a chamber marked specimen holding. They broke the lock. Inside were cages, filled with children, small, weak, frightened. Hybrids, half human, half alien. One tiny girl pointed at the far cage. She's there. Ryan rushed forward. Solari sat curled in the corner, her dress torn, a thin wire on her wrist glowing red. He knelt beside her. Solari, it's me. It's okay, I've got you. She opened her eyes slowly. They said I'm broken. You're not, he said firmly. You're brave. He picked her up and Xantha shattered the wire device with one strike. Vera opened the other cages. The children stepped out, blinking and confused. We can't leave them, Licia said. We won't, Ryan replied. We take everyone. They reached the escape tunnel Lisha had told him about, a hidden path leading beneath the temple toward a desert canyon. But there was one problem. A guard stood at the entrance. Tall, armored female, one of the tribunal's hunters. She raised a weapon. You are not permitted to leave. Ryan stepped forward. We're not asking. The guard aimed. But before she could fire, Zentha tackled her, blades flashing, fury in her scream. The two crashed to the ground. Zentha fought with everything she had. Rian grabbed the children. Go! Now! Lisha led the way. Vera guided the brides. Solari held tight to Rian's arm. Behind them, the fight ended with a scream. Zentha limped out, bleeding, but alive. Let's move before they send more, she growled. As they climbed out of the final tunnel, the sun hit their skin. A bright, burning sky waited above. They were outside, truly outside. Solari looked up and smiled weakly. Is this freedom? Ryan held her close. It is now. Far behind them, deep inside the temple, the tribunal queen watched a red screen flash. Ritual failed. Subjects escaped. She didn't blink. Send the seekers, she ordered coldly. Bring them back, or burn the desert. The mating ceremony begins. The sun was setting behind the canyon walls, painting the sky in gold and red. The escaped brides and children sat in the shadow of an old alien ruin, silent, tired, and afraid. They had escaped the temple, but not the tribunal. Rian stood watch on the cliff, his eyes scanning the horizon. He knew they didn't have much time. The Zalari would send hunters. Maybe they already had. Lisha walked up beside him. Her voice was soft. We need a plan. They'll come for us, Rian said. We need to move the children first. Zentha sat near the fire, wrapping a cloth around her wounded arm. No, we fight. Vera shook her head. If we fight, we lose. We're not soldiers. We are survivors, Zentha growled. Solari hugged a small hybrid girl, whispering comfort. We can't run forever, she said quietly. Then Licia said something no one expected. We finished the ritual. Everyone turned. What? Ryan asked. She nodded. We turn it against them. Use it in front of their own people. Zentha stood. You want to go back? Are you mad? No, Licia said. I want to show them the truth. Let the galaxy see what the ritual really is. Not some holy joining, but control. Cruelty. Ryan looked at her, stunned. You mean, do the ceremony publicly? As protest? Yes, she said. We make them watch. Not with shame, but with strength. The fire crackled between them. The idea was risky, almost impossible. But slowly, heads began to nod. The next morning they returned, not in chains, not in silence. They walked through the temple gates together, brides, children, and one human soldier. Guards raised weapons. Ryan raised his hands. Let us in. We're not here to escape. We're here to complete the ritual. Confused voices whispered through the walls. Within minutes, the tribunal chamber filled again. The elder queen stared down with glowing eyes. You dare return? Ryan stepped forward. We want the ritual, in front of everyone. The queen narrowed her eyes. Why? Licia stepped beside him. Because we choose to, not because you command it. A long silence followed. Then the queen smiled coldly. Very well. Let the ceremony begin. The grand hall of renewal lit up. Hundreds of Zalari citizens filled. The seats, nobles, and watchers curious to witness the rare human ritual. Screens floated in the air, recording everything. Ryan stood in ceremonial white robes. The brides wore theirs too, but something had changed. They stood tall, strong, free. Licia walked forward first. She placed her hand on Ryan's. I offer myself, not as a subject, but as an equal. Zentha followed. I offer pain, but also trust. Earn it. Vera placed her hand too. I offer silence, but now I speak. Solari stepped forward, holding a hybrid child. I offer my hope. You gave it back to me. The crowd watched in silence. The tribunal shifted nervously. Then Ryan spoke. I am human. You called me wild. Dangerous. A beast to breed and tame. He looked around. But I am also something you never expected. A man who chose love over power. Gasps filled the hall. He, continued, voice strong now, these women were never brides, they were prisoners. This ritual, your sacred law, is a lie. The queen stood, her voice shaking. Enough. Guards, silence him. But something changed. The citizens didn't move. Even some guards lowered their weapons. One noble woman whispered, Is it true? Vera held up the crystal map, showing images of the secret lab below. Children floating in glass. The crowd began to murmur. The queen roared, You betray your kind. Xantha growled back. We became your kind and you used us. Suddenly a loud voice echoed from the crowd. I know her. An alien male stood pointing at a child beside Solari. That's my daughter. The crowd broke into gasps. More voices rose. Where are the others? Who gave you this right? A guard dropped her spear. I didn't sign up for this. Chaos filled the hall. The tribunal stood, but their power had cracked. Licia turned to Ryan. Now take the children. Get them out. What about you? He asked. We'll hold them off. No, he said. We leave together. They ran, but this time they weren't alone. Citizens joined them. Guards turned against the tribunal. The temple shook with rebellion. As they escaped into the canyon once more, the sky above was bright and free. Solari held Ryan's hand tightly. Was that the ritual? He looked down at her with a smile. No. That was a revolution. He took them all and ran. The sun had just risen over the edge of the canyon. Ryan stood near the cliff's edge, his eyes locked on the wide desert below. Behind him, over 40 children and 5 brave alien women sat among the old stone ruins, free, but not safe yet. Smoke rose in the far distance. The tribunal temple was burning. The rebellion had begun, but it was far from over. Xantha stepped, beside him, her arm still wrapped from the last fight. They'll come after us, she said. You know that. I'm counting on it, Ryan replied. Licia joined them with a small device in her hands. The beacon worked. A human ship picked up the signal. They're coming. How long? Ryan asked. Less than an hour. Xantha looked at the sky. That's not long enough. Not if the tribunal sends hunters again. Ryan turned to the group. The children were tired, some sick, all scared. The bride stood around them like shields. Vera was singing softly. Solari rocked a baby. Licia held hands with a small boy who didn't speak but never left her side. They had survived this far, but the hardest part was still ahead. Suddenly the wind changed. A deep hum filled the air, a sound they all remembered, the sound of the tribunal's flying beasts. Dark shapes appeared on the ridge above them. Zalari hunters, 10 of them. Armored, armed, silent. The queen herself wasn't with them, but her order was clear. Bring back the hybrids, kill the traitors, capture the human. Xantha stepped forward, lifting a sharp blade. I'll hold them. No, Ryan said. We fight together. Vera handed out small weapons they had taken during their escape. We only need to stall. Just hold the line. The children were moved behind a stone wall. Solari and Licia guarded them. The hunters advanced. Rian raised his fists. Let's show them. We're more than tools. The fight was quick, brutal, desperate. Xantha fought like a storm, her fury unstoppable. Vera dodged and moved like wind. Licia used her healing powers to shield the wounded. Ryan punched, blocked, kicked. Every strike meant survival. 1. Hunter grabbed Solari. Ryan tackled her to the ground, pulling the child away. They kept coming. 1, 2, 3 hunters fell. but the rest were stronger. Then, in the distance, a loud roar. Everyone froze. A massive human military ship descended. From the sky, its engines glowing bright. It hovered just above the canyon floor. A voice boomed from the speakers. "This is Commander Blake of the Human Peace Fleet. Stand down or be fired upon." The remaining hunters looked up, unsure. Ryan shouted, "Now, everyone, get aboard." The ramp opened with a hiss. The children ran first, led by Solari. Licia helped the smaller ones. Vera supported the injured. Xantha covered the rear, blood on her face but pride in her eyes. Rian was the last one in. The door sealed behind him. They had made it. Inside the ship, doctors and soldiers moved fast, treating wounds, checking vitals, offering food and blankets. The children stared in awe. Some had never seen a real human ship before. Solari sat beside Rian, her hand in his. "You came back for us," she whispered. "Always," he said softly. Licia approached. "The tribunal will call us traitors." "Let them," Rian said. "The truth is already spreading." Xantha leaned against the wall, eyes closed. "We didn't break their ritual. We ended it." The ship flew higher and higher, away from the canyon, away from the prison, toward the stars. Later, Ryan stood in the viewing deck. The stars stretched out ahead like open arms. Licia stood beside him. "You're not just a soldier now," she said. "No," Ryan replied. "I'm a father, a brother, a protector." She smiled. "And what will you do now?" He looked at the sleeping children behind the glass window. "Build them a home, a place where no one's forced to prove their worth, where every child matters, no matter their blood." Licia placed a hand on his arm. "Then I'll help you." Xantha stepped in, smirking. "We all will." The ship moved forward, toward a planet far from the reach of the Zalari, a world waiting to become their sanctuary. As the stars blinked ahead, Ryan held Solari in his arms and whispered a promise. "You're safe now, and no one will ever cage you again." End.